Team, today we're going to go through the Ports of Auckland induction. Come with me on the journey and we'll give you a quick induction on what you're about to go through. Now on this site there's three major hazards. The first one is straddle carriers and being hit by heavy machinery, whether we're on foot or whether we're in our vehicles. The second one is falls from height. 99% of our work will be done at more than 50 metres off the ground. The third one is tools falling from height. So we're going to lanyard all our tools to ourselves so they can't fall and we don't pose a danger to others. Come with me as we work through the safety slides here. So the Ports of Auckland engineering induction. We're going to go through this quickly and it will give us an understanding of what you'll go through with Nancy, the on-site supervisor in safety. Very important confidentiality at the ports, so there's no taking photographs and uploading them to Facebook, Instagram and other sites like that. When we're on site we do need photo ID at all times, and you'll also be given one of these cards after your induction. Very important that we have the correct PPE for our site. So part of that would be a high-vis vest, ear protection, boots, glasses. We'll have lanyards and a harness on and a few other points on that one. No smoking is permitted on sites, in vehicles or in buildings. There is security cameras everywhere, so every movement is being watched. Very important that we do everything with the light of everyone seeing what we're going to be doing. Very important for accidents and incidents that we report them quickly to the supervisor. Obviously in the event of emergency we're calling 111. Port road rules, so 30 kilometres an hour is the speed limit on site, and we will also be escorted at all times by the site escorts, which there's a phone number for that, 09348 5335. This here shows the different work areas. This is the engineering shed where the mouse is. We come in over this other side here, we come in through here and around the engineering where we sign in, and we will be working down here in what we call the Ferguson Wharf or the FN Wharf, which is at the end where these three new cranes are. So we've got A, B, C, and then we've got these different cranes down the side that we'll be working on. Very important that if we are walking on the site that we're working on the pedestrian access areas. Now down at the cranes we cannot walk between two cranes. It's not a possibility unless they're side by side. There is marked walking areas, but very important we don't walk out the side here where the containers are or where the straddle carriers operate. There is a number of videos you'll be shown during your induction about ships hitting wharves and cranes tipping over. This is one example right here of a crane being hit by a ship and some of the hazards that are on the site. Environmental. Very important that we contain our waste on the site. Whilst water can obviously go back into the sea, contaminated product or should we say scrapings or filings need to be contained. We'll do this with the use of nets and scrim and suction units. All the drains are marked by these blue fish, the drains that cannot have waste go down them. There's also normal water drains as well. It is obviously a biosecurity site, so the Ministry for Primary Industries is around and they might search your vehicle at any stage looking for things like snakes and other Australian things from around the world that we don't want in this country. Also, it's a custom site because there's stuff coming in from overseas, So they're also here on site and they have the right to search any vehicle. It just goes through the engineering shop evacuation, it doesn't affect us. There's two different sounds here. So one's in the event of an evacuation, that is the sound you'll hear. And this is the all clear announcement. So we must declare any hazardous stuff that we're bringing onto the site. We'll be holding MSDS sheets on our tablets of all the products we're using, and we must have containment measures, so spill kits nearby where we're working. The port also has its own spill kit stations which we can access if we need to in an emergency. Various permits are required for certain work. One of them is the likes of hot work, which won't affect us a lot, but will from time to time. Other things, the likes of confined space, we need to get permits to work for that sort of work. Now we will be dealing with our contacts at the port, which will be Brian typically, Nancy's team, and it'll also be the supervisor on the day, so we'll look at them shortly. Before any task is done, we will go through our triple SPs, site-specific safety plans, to make sure we understand the step-by-step procedures we're going to take to do our job safely. Remembering on this site is these three major hazards. And the first one is straddle carriers or being hit by heavy machinery. The second one is falls from height. And the third one is tools dropping from height to injure somebody else. Each day we will do our Take 5 assessments, and if we do move crane during the day, we will do another 5x5 assessment to make sure we've assessed those hazards. This just shows the three supervisors that are in the control room looking after the cranes. On site there is supervisory staff of POALs are first aid trained, and along with our leaders are obviously all first aid trained too. There's first aid kits in all our vehicles, and there'll also be in our site trailer on site. There is set parking areas, and these will be pointed out to you in your induction. The visitor registration process, refer to the other video on induction as to how to go about this. If you're a leader, you will be given a radio for site contact. This is excellent in the event of an emergency and also keeping communication clear between all the parties on the site. Before entering the cranes, you will be given a similar tag to that to put on a signboard outside to show that you're on that crane. Now, make yourself familiar with who else is on there and what areas they're working in, and make them sure they know where you're going to be so that you can look out for each other. Crane lockout tags. So these are around electrical lockouts to make sure the crane is safe and there's no electrical hazards on the crane. So the supervisor in the control room is responsible to make sure that that crane's been locked out, and our supervisor will request that of them before we work in the area. There are set wind limits that we're not allowed on the crane. So as the wind speed's getting up, we'll be notified, probably via radio, that we need to get off that crane. If at any time we feel the wind or the rain, the weather's too rough up there, feel free to come down and we'll find work nearer the ground. When working at heights, obviously preference is to try and do something on the ground if we can, and the second option is using the use of lifts and on the walkways, and the third and probably final option is the use of abseilers and ropes. There is some environmental hazards on the site. So one of them is airborne dust and debris, and this can be from roadworks and stuff happening in the area. The other one is from ships, exhaust fumes, and the other one is from fumigation, where they fumigate the likes of containers and other things like that on the site.
Wellness is one very important subject. At POL site, very important for them that everyone manages their wellness and that they don't become fatigued. Once again, we've got these 3 hazards on the site: straddle carriers, falls from height, and dropping tools. And wellness plays a very important part in making sure we're safe every day and can go home to our families. In this case, their maximum work period over a 24-hour period is 12 hours, and minimum break length, so day shifts, is 10 hours. So guess for us, very important that we're not working in excess of 10 or 11 hour days here on site. Make sure we take our breaks, get rehydrated, especially when we're working in the sun. At any time, there could be random drug or alcohol testing. If you have something's happened during the week and you have got on the can, the best thing to do, as you know, stay at home, send us a message. You can't be in. At least make sure you're going to look after yourself and you're not going to harm somebody at work the next day. Thank you for watching this video, and I trust you enjoy your time working at the Ports of Auckland. Just a reminder, the 3 hazards on this site is getting hit by large machinery or straddle carriers, and secondly is falls from height. So most of our work will be done at height. And the third point is tools or falling equipment. So make sure you lanyard them up. Thanks for watching and have a great day.